BFFs, okay, guess where we are today? I have got a treat for you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
so you know my BFF here, right? Paul Fenner, right? Well, I have a new BFF, and I don't know, I guess I'll share him with you because it's just an exciting time here at our kitchen, right?
Right.
So, let me introduce to you Chef Pascal Olhats as I present you to our BFFs.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Just, I think we're a good team, and today we're going to show that, being in the kitchen is we need to work together and love what we do and passion. I'm sure Paul is going to talk about his passion too. And I'm here to answer all your questions.
Oh, and I'm so excited. Okay, so we are BFFs. Beauty Food Flowers, but we are also best friends, and now we have a new best friend forever, right? And he brings such passion to the table with his culinary expertise. Now, let's get a little background so you all have an understanding why I'm all giddy today, okay?
Because you've known Pascal for quite a while, haven't you?
I've known Pascal, yes. Now, I want you to tell our viewers and our listeners what your background is so they have an idea of, I'm just like in awe of you, so.
All right. I've been cooking for several years, actually.
Several.
My mother, was a great cook, and I cooked with her when I was right my eyes above the stove. And then I work in Normandy, my first job. I was 15 years old during my school holidays in Rouen, Normandy, and some great restaurant there. And then after that, I decided, maybe I can do that not for a living, but I need to learn more. So I went to culinary school in Brussels, Belgium, and then after that, I worked in Lyon with some famous chef, Paul Bocuse, and then south of France, Saint-Tropez in Provence. I moved to California about not quite 40 years ago, but 30 some years.
Ish.
Yes.
You were very young.
I was very young,
There
yeah. And I still feel young,
Right.
I think if you eat well and happy, and if you love actually what you're doing.
I agree. If you love what you're doing, then age is just a number.
Totally.
Right.
It keeps you young.
It does.
If you follow your passion, that
Right.
keeps you young. So yes. So you have, your story is the story that I hear, and I have a story similar to that. And when you listen to those stories from a culinary person, you know that they have walked that path from their passion, because it starts at a young age. Like you started at a young age, I started at a young age.
And I actually did too.
Yes. And so you're talking to somebody when they come out of the gate and they're talking about from their childhood days and bringing it to the present day. You know that was a passionate walk that you have been on for decades now. So
Like we say, we have it in the blood.
yes, exactly.
And sometimes we always think, maybe I should do something else, try something else. You can't.
Oh.
You step away and then you come back to it.
Yes.
There's no way.
Exactly. So I know that when you got here, you kind of started laying out your path. And so tell me, because you have taken it to where now you're a culinary instructor at Saddleback College. Yes. And so I think that's fabulous, because now you're also sharing your gifts with students who may have that same passion, and you're encouraging that.
I believe when you do a career on something that you love, and it's all the stage. You have the learning stage, and then you have the working stage where you can go in the business and try to do whatever you have in mind, opening your own business or creating things for a company, something like that. And then now I'm at the stage to share my knowledge.
Yes.
And because that's nothing better than sharing what you know. And there's so many young people, are not so young, who want to be in the restaurant business these days. So I'm not just teaching how to cook, I'm teaching them how to maybe run a kitchen. Also, all the downside, you know, not everybody is 100%
Right.
rosy, you know. It's a
Yes.
lot of work. You know?
I think today and for a while now, since there's been so much information on television and shows relating to culinary and, creating competitions, and I think a lot of people have been drawn to culinary because of that. Not necessarily because it's a passion, they just like the excitement that they see within what they're viewing. But then comes that reality that with that fun, also, there's a whole path you walk before that, and it is not an easy path. It's long hours, it's hard work, it's, for the entrepreneur in the culinary industry, it's sleepless nights, and you and I both know that, and it's like Paul's business too, because his business mirrors what we do, because he's in the floral business, and that's what I love about our show, because we mirror each other. He has that passion for his flowers, as I have it for the culinary. So when we have guests like you, it just solidifies it all, right? It just
comes together.
Yes, it just comes together. So
if you start counting the hours, it's tiring.
yes.
So stop counting the hours. Just get it going.
Just do it,
Be organized, though.
Right.
You cannot just panic. Because you need actually. It's fun to cook, but also it isn't very important, like in any business, to be organized. You need to schedule your preparation.
That's right.
You cannot make a great meal or a great party on a last-minute preparation, like we did today, and we did film earlier the preparation. It's called mise en place.
Yes.
You need to have all your ingredients ready, and then when it's time, the best part of cooking, you just put it together. And same, I'm sure, with the flowers.
The same
you
thing
have to
with
go
flowers,
shopping,
right?
you have to trim the flowers before you stage them, and then you put the arrangement together.
That's correct.
Voila.
And then you all come to the table together. You bring your cuisine, you bring your floral, and it just all makes for such a beautiful beginning, right? Of creating friendships and solidifying friendships and coming to the table and just being the family. And I think that's really, really what food and floral and that's what it's all about.
Table setting is a big part of it.
Yes.
Of course, every day you're not going to think of when you have a normal meal, what we're going to put on the table. But even to have some flowers or plants in a kitchen, you just think that connection with nature.
That's right.
And, because food is nature. If we know nature, we won't eat well.
Right.
So we just open a can, but even whatever is in the can comes from nature as well. So to put like you do, I really appreciate what you do, because we can even work together sometimes, because there's a theme. I see right now we're in the Thanksgiving time. Okay, the colors you're going to put into your arrangement.
That's right, and we can introduce some fruit and vegetables into the flowers as well, and it looks really cool. It goes with the Thanksgiving theme so well.
And we can also introduce floral into the display
the
of
actual
the cuisine.
food.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
we
see
have
that
some
you have
here.
that right here. Yes,
And
Very
yes.
exciting.
more and more. I always had the passion to put some herbs,
Yes.
a long branch of herbs, something. But now we've moved from herbs to flowers.
Yes.
And you don't have to put a bouquet of flowers on the plate. You just put a few petals.
Yes.
It really, boom, give you some little explosion of color.
Yes.
That's right, it brings the color in, because quite often in your cooking, the colors disappear, don't they?
Yes.
So by bringing in something fresh, like flowers, that color comes back onto the plate.
Yeah.
Yes, cooking tends to mute the
does.
colors, like all the colorful cauliflowers. It takes the color down, but you can, like Paul said, you can bring that color back in, by your plate, and then introducing the color of the floral. So, I mean, it's just really endless where you can go and just create such a beautiful setting. And I mean, that just creates more conversation as you come to the table as well.
And on all the senses.
Yes.
The color, the smell of the rose, the smell of the fruit, so all that together.
Yes.
It's just But looking at beautiful flowers make you smile, and when
does
you're
make
looking
you
at beautiful
smile.
plate of food make you smile too.
So you came to me the other day and you said, close your eyes. And you had just got back from Paris. And you opened this jar and I'm standing there and I closed my eyes and you lifted up and you said, now take a sniff. And I sniffed it and I knew exactly. You brought back truffle honey. Yes.
wow.
And so, you know, talking about your senses and all of that, I mean, you have that at a table in a charcuterie board or something like that.
delicious.
Oh my gosh. You smell that walking up to the table. And I just love that. I love that whole sight and smell and just the passion and all coming together and what it produces in the end, this fabulous dish. And it could just be one dish. It doesn't have to be multiple. You can come together on one dish and have all those components to it, and that's all you need. And you know, you've got conversation, you've got friendship. It's just wonderful.
And at the end of the meal, you know, everybody is happy.
Yes,
very happy.
and don't forget that wine that goes with it.
Sure, with moderation.
Oh, of course, moderation. Yes, I like prosecco, so yes, a little bit of that too.
Prosecco is good, but you let me know so I can pair.
Oh yes,
That's
right,
right, you
right.
have to do
Oh,
that.
that would be
Yeah.
so fun.
I
Yes.
love wine pairing. I love to do wine pairing because, you know, it's same thing. You know, it's another layer of the nature that we have, and it's about the volume of wine you drink. There will be the quality and what the wine just go well, and they help each other. A good wine pairing help the food and the wine as well. You know, so.
And I love, because I'm sure that when you get into your classroom, your passion probably comes out. Yes, you're the instructor, the culinary instructor, but I think your passion comes through all that as well. And even if the student is in there and they're just kind of testing the waters, I'm sure that your method of teaching and your approach to it probably pulls that passion out of them, right?
I try to make them understand that there's a reason for everything.
Yes.
When we cook,
Right.
the reason why, like say I'm going to show you one dish we do, we need to pad the meat. Okay, so there's a little bit of chemistry, there's a little bit of physics as well, you know. And but also at the end, you know, everything. I even teach them how to listen when you cook.
Yes.
Because you know, if you put your meat in a pan, it doesn't make any noise. I mean, your pan is too cold or it's too crowded.
Yes.
You know, and you smell, you look, and you make sure it's warm. And all these senses are
Right.
So, but also to be proud of what you do, right? And cooking is just putting things together. Cooking is it's an art and a passion and a science too. It's an art and a science.
And experimenting and
Yeah, but I always teach my students that I want to teach you how to cook first.
Right.
So once you know how to cook and you have some basic recipes, then you have fun to experiment
Right.
and put your own touch to it.
Yes.
Put your own sense of art into it, and then a sense of taste. Experiment. You know, you may make a little mistake, but that's okay. You know, just next time you make the adjustments. Yeah.
So with all that, do you still love, because I find myself doing this, I go in the kitchen by myself. I love coming in the kitchen by myself and just cooking. I will go to a recipe that I've been working on consistently, or bread is where I go if I need to get into my thoughts. So I'll come in the kitchen and I'll just bake bread, and because my mom and I used to bake bread all the time together. And my grandmother, I have a Portuguese grandmother and a Hawaiian grandmother, and my Portuguese grandmother would make these delicious Portuguese breads, and then my Hawaiian grandmother would make delicious stews and soups and fish right out of the ocean. And
Very nice.
so, but do you still do that, Chef? Do you go into the kitchen and just kind of zone in and just be by yourself?
I don't think there's one day that I don't cook.
Right.
And even if it's a simple meal, what did I do last night? Well, last night I had some lung of lamb, and No, so you just marinate your meat maybe for an hour, so salt, pepper, a bit of fresh thyme, and let it sit. But you don't have to make it fancy sauce. You just sear it, and then at the end you add a little bit of a split clove of garlic, and then the meat is going to be there to prepare your sauce. But it's going to leave all these little marks in the pan, and then once it's halfway cooked or three-quarter cooked, you put them aside and let them sit, and then you deglaze. Could be with a little white wine, could be a little water, and then you have that little jus in the pan, jus, like that, and then you put the dripping into it, and it smells good, but it's simple, it's really good. And then add a little rice that I steam and put a little turmeric and for flavor, good olive oil, and then you have a great meal.
Oh my gosh, I'm so hungry now. Okay, good thing we're about to cook something because I would be saying cut and we need to go eat now. So with that said, we have all your meats right here, right? And
What are we going to make?
Beef stroganoff.
Very nice.
Right. When you told me that.
It is a good, sounds fancy,
Yes.
but once you have it ready, it's quite easy dish to put together. It's very comfort.
It is comfort food.
But with a touch of fanciness.
Right.
And also you can do, the recipe I'm going to do it is gluten-free.
Oh yes.
It's not fat-free, I'm sorry, but gluten-free.
Well,
And
correct me, can I ask you a question? I think when something has fat, it has so much more flavor than if it doesn't have the fat. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes, and
Yeah.
and it's not about what we do in my cuisine. It's not about the volume of sauce.
Right.
We need a little bit of butter just to give the flavor. But it's
Yes.
not going to swim in
It
butter.
doesn't need to, no,
No.
but you can still bring
Yeah.
in that flavor
Yeah.
from the fat.
But what we do with the beef stroganoff, if you don't want the pasta, we're going to serve it with pasta, with egg fettuccine today. But you can serve it with rice.
Yes.
You can serve it with gluten-free pasta.
I love it with mashed potatoes.
Oh,
And
mashed potato,
I'm
there
not a
we
mashed
go.
potato
Oh,
person.
that sounds
Beef
good.
stroganoff with mashed potatoes.
Okay, let's do that.
Amazing. Amazing.
I had it at a restaurant in LA once, and they served it with wild rice,
Oh, right.
and it was
Is it
so
delicious?
delicious.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And wild rice sounds good, or even sauteed potatoes. Now we find all these little
Yeah. The little teeny tiny potatoes.
You can just slowly cook in olive
Very
oil.
nice.
And even split fingering potato,
Yes.
mix of colors,
Yes.
purple, pink, yellow.
Delicious. Anything with potatoes is
So,
fantastic.
all right. Like Julia Child will say when you cook, because I'm a big fan of Julia Child.
Yes.
And I have a chance to meet her twice, but
Wow.
I'm also was one of the guest chef, invited chef for 80th birthday. So I was
wow.
there
How fantastic
to
is
cook
that?
We were like 50 chefs
Yes.
from all over the world.
Oh, wow.
Mostly, a lot of French chefs. And then, so I met her, it was amazing. And then I found out when the movie Julie and Julia came out,
Yes.
that her first meal that she had in France when she came there with Paul, her husband, and she said, "Oh, I'm hungry. Let's go to a restaurant." It was a restaurant, my first restaurant that I ever worked in Rouen.
Oh wow.
What a small world.
Yeah,
That's
it's
amazing.
called La Couronne. And so it's a full circle.
Yes.
And I didn't know that at the time I met her. I wish I knew that we were
Yes.
restaurant.
You would have told
And
them.
but this is where she discovered that French cuisine, because talking about fat, she discovered it's all about the butter,
Yes.
the quality of the butter, the flavor of the butter. No?
That's right.
Butter is not just something to do a non-stick. Butter is
You
also
incorporate those
flavoring,
flavors.
enriching the flavoring as well.
Right.
So,
I have to agree.
so Julia Child always said, especially when she talk about the beef bouillon, to make sure that your meat is dry. So you have to, once you have your meat cut, you have to pad it dry. See, because it's already a little bit.
Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, because it will sear better.
Okay,
It's
you
just
have less moisture on
for
it.
searing, take the moistures out.
Yes.
And then, so it's going to sear well, and the seasoning going to be better on it, and so.
Now,
and
would
also,
you you season it before you sear it
Well,
or afterwards?
That's a big question.
Okay.
There is some for it, some not for it.
Okay.
Personally, this one will be for the dog, and then no, but my dog is my sous chef at home, not my kitchen, but at home. Yes, it's already. He knew that I will
Right.
be or destroy take and drop something. But my philosophy on searing anything I cook before, especially the protein, meat and fish, is that if you season it later, it's too late.
Right.
Because
Yes.
you know the chemistry of the salt going into the ingredient. It's like when you don't put salt in the water when you cook vegetables.
Right.
It doesn't remove the acid.
Right.
So there's a reason why there's salt in the water when you cook them.
Yes.
And if you add the salt later, it's too late.
Right.
You taste the salt.
Right.
So we're going to warm up the pan, make sure it's warm enough. I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil. And because Paul asked for it, I'm going to pre-season my meat.
Okay. There we go.
Now is your answer.
There you go.
But, you know, you don't over-season it. Because you always have to adjust the seasoning at the end.
Right.
I love your peppermint.
I know.
That's a lovely
love
peppermint.
This is from Morocco, but you
I
know, mostly in the African continent, there's all kind of tools like this.
Yes.
And then, so I use a very good pepper. I use a black and white pepper mix from
Okay.
Cambodia,
Oh, wow.
Right.
and some of the best pepper. It's all hand picked and sun dried.
So the white pepper will be fermented, right? Is it
It is.
fermented?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. They even do fermented pepper with salt. You can actually
You can actually
shoot.
taste it.
I eat it.
Yes.
It's amazing.
So it does change the flavor of the pepper. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
white pepper has
Oh,
a
yeah.
great flavor.
And I think the place is called compost pepper.
And that's the sound you want.
Yes, it is.
When
Sounds
you're,
great.
when you're,
So you need to have, yes,
Yes.
but
It
you
needs to
need
be
to have a dish that's big enough so it's not too crowded. So we're going to do 2 batches. Alright, so we have a nice roll stirring there. And here's my trick on the beef bourguignon. You need to sear your meat first, and then you do them instead.
oh,
But if you add the mushroom right away, it's going to bring water,
right,
and then if you have water, you can boil the meat.
right.
Yes.
So you want that low, nice searing, the flavor, you can get so much better. So good, you know.
And what is your favorite cut of meat to use for stroganoff?
Well, a lot of people use filet mignon, but for me it's not necessary.
Right.
To find a good ribeye, and we showed earlier we kind of devein the ribeye, remove most of the big piece of fat. Look at that.
The marble.
It's nice, but to the flavor,
Yes.
more flavor than filet.
Right, right.
There, if you have a little bit of color here, it's just perfect. So once I don't see much grain on the meat, so I cut the cubes about 1 to 1.5 inch each. That's the meat.
So you've actually seared it a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to drop the flavor in the meat.
And you do the same thing with beef bourguignon, or if you do a lamb stew,
Yes.
same thing. So, look at the nice color on the pan. This is flavor.
Yes.
Add a little bit of oil, and put, there we go. And stir that again. Like that.
Very nice. Can you smell the meat?
Yeah.
flexitarian is coming out.
Vegetarian.
Yeah, stay away, you're going to take a bit away from me.
Well, Paul is actually a vegetarian,
Oh,
but every now and
it's
then.
grass-fed, so it should be okay.
Right, there you go. See, grass fed. That's all
right.
you need to know. There you go.
I love that.
You have it called everybody.
So we laugh that I'm flexitarian. So
Right.
whenever we have something like this, I always try it.
Alright, so
He does love a good pork dish too.
That's right. Oh, I love pork, and bacon is my favorite.
good.
So bacon and butter,
Oh,
essentials for cooking.
oh my
Yeah,
God.
you talk about beef jerky or turkey jerky.
That's right, and biltong.
So,
Yes.
so you
So I
like
do
that
eat,
too.
I eat meat and not a lot, and I do enjoy it.
But why not doing this? It won't be the same texture, but it won't be the sweetness. Use impossible meat or some other type of
We
meat.
have used that.
As long as you put all the ingredients together, you're going to have the flavor.
Absolutely. I agree.
I'm totally fine. People who don't eat meat, that's the way to go. Alright, so we're going to keep the beef medium rare.
Very nice.
Okay, rare to medium rare. Yes, here.
And all that goody stuff on the bottom.
Yes,
Oh,
we
yeah.
put
Oh,
This
the-
is going to make the sauce.
That's the
Very
sauce
nice.
right there.
I love the brown bit is the bottom of the pan.
So now we have a mix of white mushroom and cremini.
Baby bells, yeah.
Baby bell, yeah.
Okay.
Alright. Next side. Alright. So do that.
And of course they're going to suck up all that lovely juice
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff that you've got going on.
And it's going to release a little bit of the moisture.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's going to start to pick all that up off the bottom
Oh,
of the
yeah.
pan.
Yes.
So my mouth is watering.
I love mushroom.
Right.
Me too.
It smells terrific.
And now we learn more and more that mushroom is good for you.
That's right.
Yes.
You do.
Especially shiitake mushroom or any more exotic mushroom is good for you. But this type of mushroom are also really good.
Yeah.
Right.
So you can do this with no meat.
That's right.
With just more mushroom.
Yes.
And it's
Right.
fantastic.
You could do a variety of mushrooms.
You
yeah.
can even add some vegetable. As long as you put the vegetable into it on the side, you saute some cubes of zucchini. You find no bell pepper, nothing like that.
No, that's a little too strong,
Nothing
right?
more neutral.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
To visual that. But I hate when I see too much smoke. I always tell from a distance, especially in school.
Yes.
And when I watch my cook in the kitchen, if the smoke is darker than just light white, there's something is wrong with your pan.
Yes.
So you have to reduce your heat. One tip: never use burner at the flame that goes larger than the pan.
Great.
Why? Because you can burn all the edges of the food in a pan, especially when you reduce the sauce, it's going to be there. So you have to make sure the flame is just right on the bottom part of the pan.
That's very good to know. I do like that you've mixed the brown and the white together, so when in the pan, it looks beautiful.
It's beautiful,
So they have to
so
use
the
it.
flavors will be a little bit different. And to make volatile again, it's a little bit of
A little bit of salt, right?
yeah.
Very nice.
Alright. So now it's time to add some first things. Some chopped garlic. Can be a little generous, fine.
And always try and use fresh garlic, right?
Yeah, yeah, fresh garlic. I don't use garlic powder. I actually personally cannot digest garlic powder.
Okay.
I don't know why. It doesn't work.
I find it a little bit bitter.
It doesn't work well with me. Some chopped shallots.
Okay.
And I really recommend chopped shallot instead of onions. Really a different flavor, different acidity. Well, I
think a dish like this you should go with shallots because a lot of people just put like yellow onions in. But I think
Yeah.
shallots make a difference.
Yeah, they do.
They do.
And so you reduce the heat so it doesn't burn the shallot and the garlic. But look, see that brown part of the butter pan? It's already gone. It's in into the ingredient. This is where the flavors is going to come.
Right.
If you don't do that, you can be, a little less flavorful. All right. So now we need to have the sauce part. And some recipes for flour are when you do it just by reduction.
Okay.
So we do actually. We do. I can do. I could have flambéed the meat first, but if we do that, we deglaze too soon. But when you flambé the mushroom with some brandy,
Oh, that's brandy?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I never knew it was sitting there.
there you go. Just in the show.
Use your
You
eyebrows.
need a little bit of show.
A little show, yes.
Absolutely.
And then some either chicken stock or vegetable stock. You can make your own, but I always suggest that there's a thing. On Sunday you cook the whole chicken. On Monday you use leftover to make a pot pie,
Yes.
and you use the carcasses to make your stock.
That's right.
And then on Tuesday you can make your chicken soup.
Yes.
Right.
That's
right.
right.
But your chicken is good for 3 days.
And you can get your vegetables for the chicken soup from your garden.
Or if you can,
Yes, if you
hopefully.
can.
Hopefully, but these days you can go a little bit of produce some small piece of, but we are so lucky now that to have access to some great farmers market,
Yes.
and they bring local produce, and we need to support the farmers. And here it's not necessary. Again, we have some beef glaze, but you can also use beef stock just for extra flavor, or veal stock to find some. If you're a pro amateur, pro in your kitchen, whatever, you can make your own beef stock too.
Right.
Question of time.
It is.
You can actually get this beef stock, because they have different ones in the market, but you can get that beef stock still at your higher end markets like Whole Foods,
Yes.
and they carry it in the freezer section.
Yes.
Bristol Farms, Whole Foods, they have it, and it's a really good quality.
I'm afraid I'd sometimes use a bouillon cube.
Oh,
So that-
Why not? As long as you use a good one.
yes,
No?
yeah,
Read the label. Make sure there's not anything like MSG
yes.
or food coloring into it. So it is organic type of thing.
I get mine from England.
Ah,
My
there
friends
you
send them
go.
out.
Oh,
And they
I don't
tend
know
to,
why, but I just like the English ones.
well, they tend to have a lot of salt content
They
in
do.
them, so you have to
oh,
be careful.
I forgot a little bit of cream.
Just a little bit.
Just
Love
a
it.
Keep on
little-
talking so I keep
Just
on
a little
pouring,
bit of
you know?
cream.
Oops.
Oh, I
That's
wish you
great.
guys could smell this. This smells so,
does.
so good.
And if you can warm up the
course.
water a little bit more, so you
I'll
need
be your
almost to
man.
a boil.
I'll be your pasta man.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And then when you bring that to a boil, reduce it. What I like to do sometime, first I'm going to look at this dripping.
Oh, look
Love
at
that.
Look at that.
Right. So
That's
it's
This
just
is
that's
all
where
the
your flavor is.
flavor of the beef.
Yes.
Very nice.
And also to give a chance to the sauce to reduce, I like to remove some of the mushroom.
Okay.
But the mushroom is 90% water.
Right.
So more you pour them, more water go into your sauce.
Yes.
And longer it takes to reduce, and sometimes it just doesn't reduce as well. So now this is what we're going to do. Remove some of the mushroom, then the cream is going to
Does that also keep the mushrooms a little bit tender and plump?
Yes.
Rather than
Also,
drying
if
them
you
out.
don't want to overcook.
Right.
And I do the same thing with tomato. Any sauce that have tomato in it, and that you need to have a little reduction,
Yes.
just remove the tomato halfway, and then you can reduce the liquid the sauce.
And then introduce them back in again
And then you
afterwards.
put the back bowl.
It was a great idea.
But you know, they're going to be really happy together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, looks great.
We're almost there. Remember, this is medium rare. You have to just quickly mix the whole thing. And once the water is ready, we want to warm up the pasta.
You want it to a boil or we're good?
A good simmering. You can take another minute.
A minute?
Any other question?
Not at
I
the
wish I
moment.
can ask the audience.
That's right. I'm sure you get some questions from there.
Yes.
Well, I've been eyeing the mustard that you have there.
Oh.
Are we going to be using that at all?
Oh yes, definitely. And
I hope it's a good old French mustard.
yeah, well, you can find some decent American-made mustard, but you know, if you have a chance, have access to a French mustard like this, I won't say the brand, it's not available, but you know, for me, I love the mustard. It's all spicier.
It is.
Actually, I go to a store in Paris. Each time I go to Paris, you go straight there. You can buy mustard on the tap.
Oh,
Wow.
wow,
Unbelievable.
really?
Yeah, so I save all their beautiful jars.
Yes.
Like,
You go and get it.
and like almost handmade jars. And you have different sizes. And you have to bring back my clean jar and have a refill.
Oh my
Very
goodness.
nice.
And they also do seasonal flavors. Like right now, they have white truffle mustard, they have black truffle
How
mustard,
delicious.
and they also have bourbon mustard,
Oh,
depending on the season.
wow.
Yes. With wine.
Yeah, when it's actually they use the more the wine at the harvest time, the crush grape. They
How
use that
delicious
as
is
the
that?
mustard to make it like that.
Delicious.
I would, I don't know, I'd be in there all day long.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
tasting
do
the mustard.
Right, yes, and so
Some
they,
people smell the roses, but you'll be tasting.
right, I'll be testing the mustard. And do they provide the jar? Do they have their
You
own
can buy the
jars?
jars.
Oh.
You can buy your
I
jar,
like the idea that you can use your own container and go
but you
back.
can bring it back.
Yes.
It's
What a
like
great idea.
one thing I do in farmers market here is some vendors are selling coconut water or coconut milk. And I go back every week to
With your
that
own
same vendor.
containers. There you are.
I like
That's a
doing
great
that. I
idea.
think
Yeah,
we have a
you use-
relationship and
Yes.
it's a good habit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I have a question. What do you think of English mustard? That very strong, Coleman's English mustard.
Actually, I do like it.
Me too.
I have good memories that
Yes.
you know, when I went there a few times, I like actually the piccalilli.
Yes,
The
because it is very nice.
And the
So it's
vinegar curry
Pickled.
type of
Yes, with pickled
pure
vegetables. Uh-huh.
and it's mustard.
Yes.
The mustard in it
Yes.
too. But the mustard in this one is good too because not to be bad. Many years ago, the food in England wasn't that great.
No, it wasn't.
That's why you had good
Right.
mustard.
Yes, to hide it. Right.
Now food is much better in
Yes.
England.
Right.
And but the beef was most of the time overcooked. But
Yes.
the mustard,
So
with the mustard, it was fine.
With horseradish.
Also, you should love horseradish. Delicious. Why you cannot have a piece of prime rib without horseradish. There's no way. For me,
Yeah.
if you go to a place with beautiful, good prime rib, I need to have my horseradish.
But there's horseradish and there's horseradish, isn't there?
That's true.
So, and again, just like mustard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can even make grate your own horseradish. Yeah, just put a good spoon of mustard in
Yes, I
there.
see that.
So now, chef, does this help with the thickening?
Oh, I love it.
Ah.
Definitely. And also the binding.
Yes.
Combine everything together.
That's looking
It's
delicious.
looking great, isn't it?
I think
Can't
we can
wait.
drop the
Drop the
pasta if you
pasta?
don't mind. You want to use this? Alright. I'm going to put back the meat and the mushroom back into the sauce.
So you've reduced it enough for that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be thick, you doesn't have to be just rich. And just warming up because everything is already cooked.
And of course, you don't want to overcook your meat, right?
No.
By putting it back
You don't
in
want
the
to boil
sauce.
it.
Right.
And then you can do a little tasting.
Nice.
Not bad. I think you want to try some?
Yes, we're going to try it when it's.
All right.
Yeah.
A little touch of pepper. You want to smell the pepper?
Yes. That's lovely. I can smell the white in there as well. It has very distinctive.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Just
And not
wanted
many
it
people
flashed.
use white pepper.
You just wanted it flash, right?
You just flash, just perfect. And then, so what we do, we put that in a nice dish for presentation before we serve ourselves. I think we have something here. That.
So you just kind of warmed up the pasta.
Just warmed
Not
up
too much.
and salted the water.
Uh-huh. So is it still going to be a little al dente?
Yeah. Well, these were fresh pasta, so it's not totally al dente, but still it has a nice texture.
Yes.
Can you stop the burner on the
Yes.
So I noticed that you're rolling the pasta. Is there a particular reason for that?
No, just, we think
Easier.
it's going to look better.
Yes, it looked better. It's probably easier to serve.
And then it's just the fact that, you just want to, and I hate to dump food on the plate.
Right.
So
Right.
just give it some love.
Yes.
Do that. And give it a little nice
That's a
little
great
shape.
idea. I hadn't thought of that. So when you serve, it'll come up as a.
Yeah.
As
Or
a
if you
group.
serve it on one plate, I would do that either in a long plate,
Yes.
and then I start serving my food on the top. And the same thing, you don't want to put the pasta in this dish, but after that, everything is overcooked. You would put
And this way too, you can control the amount of liquid that you've got going into the dish.
totally, yes. And then you can always have more liquid on the side if
Yes.
you want to put more into your plate.
Right. I'd go back in the kitchen later with a spoon.
And
Have it like a soup and some bread.
And as you say, you can be creative, if you want to do grain mustard, or if you want to add another spice into it, like maybe tarragon, or
Yes.
maybe even some chili into it.
Oh, that's a good
That's
idea.
fine. Green peppercorn. Green
Oh,
peppercorn
that'd
would
be
be
good.
really
Yeah,
good too.
that'd be good.
I love the idea of tarragon. It has such a wonderful flavor. That would be beautiful.
We don't use tarragon enough.
No,
Actually, you don't need much.
no, you don't. It's very strong.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to grow in the garden.
Is it?
Yes, tarragon's very easy to grow.
Paul has a bit of a garden.
Yes,
Oh, you-
at her garden.
You have the green hand.
That's right.
Just
Yes, green fingers.
yes.
And here's our flowers. So
Oh,
that's
flowers.
dianthus, which is the carnation family.
Yes. I don't put much because they're all strong.
Yes,
Each flower have a different flavors.
they do.
Some taste like radishes.
Yeah.
Some taste more of a little spinach type.
And I think
Some are spicy.
And they're more
Yes,
than
they-
just garnish, they're edible, so you can,
Oh, yeah.
so. That's a marigold you're putting in right now. And
Marigold.
they tend to be a little bit more spicy on the flavor. It's a great flower.
I love marigold on salads.
Yes.
It's really-
And they feed marigold petals to chickens to make the egg yolk yellow.
Oh, there you go.
Yes, it makes it more yellow.
It's like saffron or turmeric.
That's right.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
sounds good. I'm not crazy about rose petal.
Can be a little bit bitter, can it not?
But I think this is just.
I mean, look how beautiful that is. Bring some color onto the
Yeah,
plate.
look at that.
That looks delicious.
All right, so I think we should try it.
Oh,
I think we should.
know we should.
My mouth's watering right now.
Oh, you ready?
I just
Yes.
happen to have.
Oh, man.
That's right, look at me. And,
Oh,
yes.
okay. All right.
Chef,
nice.
do the honors.
Let's do that.
This will be great.
be so busy eating. You just have to hold on to something.
There'll be a pause, won't there?
Right, there will be.
And suddenly the cameraman stopped filming.
That's right.
Because he
Because
couldn't
he's
try
eating
the food.
food. That's right.
If the picture goes south, you'll know why.
Look how delicious that is.
Oh, that's
Oh,
so.
it smells
It doesn't it?
delicious.
It smells so good.
Absolutely delicious.
And it's so simple, but it's just. I mean, it's a simple comfort food.
It is, and it didn't actually take
Right?
very long to make, did it?
No.
He actually took longer because I talked too much.
Right. So, talk to us about a wine that we might have with us. Would it be a red wine?
Yeah, a nice or smooth red wine. Even I would say more of a Pinot Noir to Syrah. I would not go to Cabernet, but if I think this type of dish is pretty flexible for the wine pairing.
What about like a Chianti or something?
Chianti would be great. Yes, yes.
That would be delicious.
One thing I would say, if you Chianti, when you're talking about Italian wine, don't think to put cheese on it because
Oh,
for
no.
me, this is one of the pasta dish I would not put cheese in it.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Oh
This is
no.
for you.
So, oh, it's for the cameraman.
All right.
Okay, so here we go, chef. We're gonna dive in. Oh yeah. Oh, there. See, that's the chef's bowl.
That's the chef's bowl.
It's just a pan that's it's right there.
Right there. Right. Oh,
Okay.
that smells so
Cheers.
good. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you, chef.
Thank you, chef.
Cheers. Thank you very much. Bon
Bon
appetit.
appetit.
Okay, wait. That was just the mushroom. I'm going in for the prime rib.
Delicious.
And what's really interesting about this, you don't taste the mustard.
No.
It's,
No,
it's
yeah.
an enhancement, but it's not mustard, right?
And the mushrooms are delicious.
Mm-hmm.
And no, I'm not a mushroom fan.
It's
but
like,
these are great.
like in anything, the mustard bring a little bit of acidity. And personally, that's why I don't use white wine here.
Okay.
White
Too
wine
acidic.
is too acidic.
Right. I think with everything, it's everything in moderation. You know, if you put too much in, it's going to change
Balance.
the flavor. Balance is important.
Well, I love the brandy.
But you need the layers.
Yes.
You do, yeah. Yes, it's perfect. It's not over salted. It's not. Everything is just. It's just a mellow coming together of
Yes.
all the flavors. It's so
So
delicious.
delicious.
And it's so easy. Okay, so how many ingredients did we do? We had pasta, we had the prime rib, the demi glaze, the brandy. Now, if you don't have brandy, what else could you substitute for it?
Just skip it. Just
Right.
don't put any alcohol.
Right.
You don't want any alcohol.
Cognac?
No, but you don't want any alcohol in your food. That's fine.
No, that's not what I said.
I think we have plenty of flavors even without it.
Yeah, yes.
So we're talking about 6 ingredients.
Uh-huh.
And but it's all about so I teach also either to the class or to my cooks. It's all about the layers. Take the time to reduce each step because you can test the steps. You can test the searing, give a nice flavor to the meat, and then you can test the deglazing of the mushroom to the pan, and then the alcohol of the stock they reduce again and give one more flavors.
But you know what I love about this is how it clings to the pasta because it's reduced just perfectly and it's sticking just perfectly so it clings right to the pasta. Yes.
Yeah, it's not running.
Yeah.
Because the pasta with their own starch, they also give a little liaison to the sauce.
Right.
Yeah.
I know, that's beautiful.
Very
So, Chef, I'm going to ask you, I know that recipes are are precious to chefs, but our viewers and our listeners may want this recipe, so we may need to post it on our BFF Instagram, and so that they can have it, and we can probably even post it on our YouTube channel along with the viewing of the show. So
I think I sent it to you,
You did.
and that's the tricky part, is handwritten, so that's the only difficulty to read my recipe, because my own handwriting.
you know what? You have some lovely handwriting, let me tell you, because he texted me this recipe,
Okay.
and it's on my phone, and I'm looking at this, and it looks so French. You know what it looks like? It looks like something that they would have written, a love letter that you would have written in the 1800s.
Okay.
Yes,
Very nice.
yes, it's
Just love for food.
beautiful. Yes, it's beautiful.
Oh.
So,
I'm very glad that you call my recipes love letters.
Yes,
Because
yes, no,
it
again,
is a letter of love to write a recipe.
yes, yes. Yeah, it looks to me like a love letter. Yeah, yeah. So.
I didn't sign it though.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Well,
I'm
sign
gonna
it and
sign
text
this
it to
one.
me. Little hard.
It's
So
been a-
thank
Oh, you're
you
welcome.
so much. It's
Yes,
been such a
thank you so
pleasure.
much.
I am so honored to have you in my kitchen, and I
Absolutely.
would have you again and again and again. So
Thank you.
yes,
Thank you
yes.
for having me also in your kitchen and inviting me to your podcast.
Oh, yes.
And sharing that with our audience and clients.
Yes.
And
So
lovely meeting you, and great talking
Wow.
about food and all different types of honey and things like that. I mean, we could do a whole show just on that.
I know, right?
And probably I want to listen to what you do also next time. I want to,
Yes.
actually I would love to watch you putting some
Some
flowers
flowers.
and paint
I
together.
would love that. I would love that very much.
Yes.
Just a little secret, before I decide to take a cooking school,
Yes.
restaurant school, my other option was to be doing a landscape school.
Right. Yes.
So,
That's a lot of fun too.
There's a big
It's
relation.
Yes,
Yes.
there is.
You know,
Yeah.
because without the soil, without garden, without the growth, we cannot cook.
That's
So,
true.
Right.
so we are
Life.
all together.
Well, next time we'll go to Paul's studio, and we'll do something with Paul in his studio.
We'll look
Yes,
forward to
yes,
that.
Smell the
yeah.
roses.
Yeah, yes,
Oh,
smell the
exactly.
roses, and maybe a little champagne.
Rosé,
So,
champagne.
right, right.
Right.
Thank you so much, and thank you for watching us. Now, if you want to see this, we are a BFF YouTube channel. We also have BFF Instagram, and we're going to post Chef Pascal's recipe on our
That's right.
BFF Instagram. So, watch for that, and then watch for the upcoming of this episode posted on our YouTube channel.
And I can't wait to have some more.
I know, right?
Until
All
then.
right. So we're going to say goodbye so we can
Thank you.
finish our meal.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. See you soon.
Au revoir.
Take care. Bye.